All right, so we have a question here. We've been given information. They've asked us to determine the size of the labor force in the economy. Remember, the labor force of the people who are employed, and it also consists of the people who are unemployed. And you must remember that in macroeconomics, when we talk about an unemployed person, talk about someone who hasn't got a job but is actively looking for a job, right? And also they need us to calculate the labor force participation rate. This is the percentage of the labor force in the economy, right? And then we also have to calculate the unemployment rate. Okay, here we already put have to calculate the labor force participation rate. So we can begin. First things first, we need to determine the labor force in the economy. So to get the labor force, it's just we need to add the number of people who are employed and those who are unemployed. So we've got four, actually, how many columns? One, two, three, four, five, six. But we've got four columns telling us people who are fully employed, partly employed, not employed but looking for a job. This is an employed person. Then not employed and not looking for a job. This is the discouraged worker. So for the labor force, we're going to only focus on the employed, part-time employed, and those who are not employed but looking for a job. Right. So the number of people who are fully employed, 520. Let's also get our calculators. Plus those who are part-time employed, 270. Plus those who are not employed but looking for a job, 335. So 520 plus 270 plus 335. So the 1,125 people who form the labor force of this economy. I got to put one question here. We need also to calculate the adult population, because in order to get the labor force participation rate, we need the labor force and we divide it by the adult population and multiply by that by 100. So we come to our information here for adult population. So basically, adults are regarded from 16 to 20 years old. So the number of adults who are fully employed, 520. Number of adults partly employed, 270. Number of adults who are not employed but looking for a job, 335. Now here, those are not employed and not looking for a job, we shouldn't consider these 150 who are less than 10 years old. These are from 10 to 15 years old. We shouldn't include them, right? So we need to get this total 675 and deduct these two amounts. Okay. So 675 minus 135 plus 150, we get 390, right? So there are 390 adults who are not employed and not looking for a job. Because remember, we want only the adult population, right? So we're going to say 520 plus 270. The 520 represent the adult population who are fully employed. 270 represents the adult population who are partly employed. 335 represents the adult population that is not employed but looking for a job. And then 390 represents the adult population who are not employed and they are not looking for a job. Basically, the discouraged workers. 520 plus 270 plus 335 plus 390 get 1515. So this is the adult population within this economy. Right now, the second question is calculate the labor force participation rate for this economy. So in order to get the labor force participation rate, it's the is it the formula? It is the labor force divided by the adult population multiplied by 100%. So the labor force is 1,125 divided by 1,515, right? So basically what this is telling us is that out of the adult population in the nation, who are the ones who are employed and who are the ones who are not employed but are actively seeking a job. That's what the labor force participation rate is telling us. So we're going to say 1,125 divided by 1,515, that is 0.74 times 100, that's 74.2%. So out of the adult population, 74.2% are employed and some are not employed but they are looking for a job, right? The important factor there is they are looking for a job, right? That's why we're considering them in the labor force, all right? Because they've got the skills necessary and they're still looking for jobs. And eventually they might get them, all right? They might eventually get those jobs. All right, next we need to calculate the unemployment rate. So, oh, okay, do not worry. As I said, it's a recording, so you watch the recording afterwards, okay? All right. So do not worry, okay? You are in safe hands. All right. So the unemployment rate. So it's the unemployed people here divided by the labor force. right? Multiply by 100. So we're only considering those who are not employed but looking for a job. We're not considering the discouraged workers. All right, remember that. Only considering those who are not employed but are looking for a job. So we're just going to, the number of unemployed people in the country is 335. Then the labor force is 1,125. Right, so we're going to say 335 divided by 1,125. Right, out of the labor force, what percent are those who are not employed but are looking for a job? Basically, that's what we're telling. So 335 divided by 1,125 times 100%, you get 29.7%. So out of the labor force, 29% do not have jobs, but they are actively looking for jobs. Right? Remember, with questions with unemployment, you're only dealing with those who do not have jobs. When you're talking about unemployed, it's those who do not have jobs but are actively looking for jobs. Discouraged workers are not considered.